Please be seated. It works. So welcome everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby open the combined public sitting of the examination committees for Computer Science and Engineering, Embedded Systems, Data Science and Artificial Intelligence, and Industrial and Applied Mathematics. These committees represent different master programs of mathematics and computer science. My name is Edwin van den Heuvel, and I'm the Dean of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, and it's my honor to chair this ceremony. It's also my great pleasure to welcome you, the whole audience of course, but in particular, those here in front, who are our graduates. We are very happy that we can celebrate this event together on our campus again. We have had bad times. We are, as a department, proud that I think I counted 13 students, our students, will receive the degree of Master of Science. I think one of you will receive this with cum laude, if I am informed correctly. So this has been your result, yes? It's not our result, but your result of being hardworking and sometimes under very difficult circumstances. For instance, COVID-19, and sometimes teachers maybe, but okay. We have offered these students a rich variety of advanced courses given by excellent teachers. They're on this side. They also did a challenging graduation project. You all did it. We think they are well prepared, you are well prepared for a future career. Some may continue in science as a PhD student. Some may go to industry as a professional, and others may start their own business or as an entrepreneur. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our university and the program you followed. The Examination Committee for Computer Science and Engineering, Data Science in Engineering, and Industrial and Applied Mathematics has assessed the work of the following candidates, and I will mention them, but please, I already apologize in case I make a complete mistake of reading your name. I think the first one is okay. Thomas Boot. Is present? Good. Maren Bauerman. Isabel van den Heuvel. Tom Vermeer. Janae Mundishiparakal. Close enough or not? Maria Pogadeva. Lennart van Rijn. Bram Wieringa. Laurens Kasteleins. Daan Roordink. Nienke de Greef. Stan Heidema. En als laatst Sander Spoelstra. So, ladies and gentlemen, candidates Masters of Science, I am pleased to say that you have all passed your examinations. And you will therefore receive your diploma shortly from your respective master degree and from your supervisor, or possibly a replacement. This degree entitles you to use the titles of Master of Science and Ingenieur. Next, the graduation supervisors, and I have to pay attention, I think. The graduation supervisors of the candidates will hand out your diploma along with a short speech. So I would ask you to come here, stand here. You will get your diploma, there is a speech, and then you get a present, which is the sweater. And don't run away, because then we have a photo from you and your supervisor. So our program highly values personal contact between lecturers and students. Therefore, I now invite our students to come forward one by one to congratulate you personally by your graduation supervisor. Please be located here, as I just said. So let's start the ceremony. Oh, good. So. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So, Joachim van Schoren was your supervisor. He wasn't able to be here, but he wrote a few words for me to read. So it's Dear Thomas, and then it says in brackets, maybe say that I'm sorry I couldn't be here because I'm teaching at the same time. So, Joachim is teaching at the moment. He's very sorry that he's not able to be here. I hope you're enjoying this special day because you truly deserve it. You were one of the most resourceful, ambitious, and persevering students I had the pleasure to work with this year. All this work clearly paid off since you also received a cum laude degree. Congratulations. This comes as no surprise to me, since you're always very self-driven, so much so that it is often felt as if I was supervising a PhD student rather than a master student. I really enjoyed working with you. That you're ambitious is clear from the topic that you chose. You worked on a very hard problem to automate the building of very efficient neural networks for self-driving cars. For the audience, Thomas did his thesis at the NXP, a company in Eindhoven that develops, among other things, chips for self-driving cars. This project was very challenging since, one, we needed to design neural networks that are very small, i.e. they have to fit on a chip, and two, they need to detect objects from radar data rather than image camera data. This is difficult since radar data is fundamentally different from image data, and little is known about how to design neural networks for this task. Current models are manually designed by experts, though through lots of trials and errors, and are not very efficient. Thomas solved this problem by automating the design process, which is also known as Neural Architecture Search, or NAS. This technique eventually explores hundreds of possible networks, figures out which ones work best, and then fine-tunes them to get the best performance. This technique yielded neural networks that were significantly better than the state-of-the-art, and it's currently under the review at the Intelligent Vehicle Symposium, and I'm pretty sure that also it will be accepted. So the work is published. Yet another feather in your cap. Keep up the good work, stay hungry and stay ambitious. I'm sure we'll see many more great things from you. Congratulations. Here you are. Okay.
Oh, you didn't know it's showed Yeah, and I take one over.
All right.
Maren Buurman, Master of Science, Master of Data Science. That's special to you. It's also special to me because you're the first master student in data science I have supervised. I usually supervise students from mathematics. But you approached me with a topic that was really interesting. It contains simulation, which is one of the topics I teach. And you followed the course. You knew I could probably help you with the topic. So you approached me, and also I immediately said yes, because also the subject was very dear to me, because, well, it was about cows, and it was about robots, and robots and cows was also the topic of me when I was at your age doing the internship exactly 25 years ago. I had to write a program to compute performance measures for fully automated barns. Well, we thought they were fully automated then with milking robots, but in your case they're even more automated, which you would expect 25 years later, right? With the robots in your case being cleaning robots, or more precisely, robots that push the feed towards the cows so the cows can eat and the barn is cleaned. So very interesting topic. You did it for a company named Lely. And their robot, which you always described as cute, was called the Uno. And I actually got to see it during my holiday when I finally didn't want to think about Maran's project for a few weeks. I was at a campsite at a farm where they had exactly the Uno, and we could actually fit some model parameters there, I think. I didn't, but I could have. Anyway, you were officially employed by TNO, and they were doing this project for Lely. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Jacques very much for his excellent supervision from TNO. And so the project went very smoothly because you were already a specialist on the topic before you started because, well, I teach the course in simulation, but you were my teaching assistant for several years, which was, again, a reason why this project is so special to me. And it meant that I came up with the assignments, the students had to make the assignments, and you had to grade the assignments. And you did that very thoroughly. You were very tough on them, and rightfully so. Peter and I learned that we were growing way too soft. So I also just an hour ago I was teaching the course again. We just released the grades to assignment 2. The students were complaining, thinking that we were too hard, and I said, well, you should be glad that you weren't there in Maren's year. Then, so don't complain. You really did an excellent job. I'm really happy with that. We were both very happy with that. Back to the project. So the project was on simulation, and everything went very well because you knew a lot about the subject, but still sometimes you were doubting yourself, you were doubting the project, and that's one of the things I really want to tell you. Don't do that. It's really not necessary. You're very special and you're very gifted, you're talented, and you can do these things excellently. So don't wait for us to give you a motivational speech because it really was not necessary. You did excellently. The project went very well. The problem owners were happy. I was happy. And so it ended well. So now that means that you have plenty of options. You graduated exactly at the same time, well, one day apart from your boyfriend, I think, right, who's also here. So that means that you have plenty of options, nice things to do now. And well, fortunately, you like to have fun. You were always busy bartending, going to parties, going to your family-in-law, going on other trips. And the last thing I want to say, do you remember the first communication we ever had? It was you asking me, before you started the course in stochastic simulation, whether, before it even started, you already asked for a postponement of the deadline of the first assignment because the study association was going on a trip to Portugal and you definitely wanted to attend that. And that was an excellent idea to ask that. I hope you can keep on doing these things. Whatever you do in life, I'm very sure you will be very successful, but also don't forget to have fun. Congratulations again.
A little bit awkward, I guess. So your supervisor could not be here. He's in China. He went back to China. Your supervisor was Dr. Zan. But I will give a speech, even though he was your supervisor. Didn't receive a very extensive speech, so I made some changes. So that's the benefit of being on this side and not on that side. So, dear Isabel, as a student of the bachelor program on data science and the data science and engineering track of the computer science master, you were mostly attracted by the statistical theory of data science. This was evident when you decided to do a bachelor end project on spatial temporal modeling of cardiovascular mortality incidence rates in the USA. For your internship in the master program, you chose a project at Center Data. where you modeled attrition of panel members, where you used survival random forest and dynamic survival landmark models, and you also participated in a Capita Selecta on individual causality provided by Dr. Post of my group. So, you were very explicit about your master thesis project. You insisted on a spatial temporal project. Luckily, my group just started to work on the Dutch Cancer Institute, IKNL, who wanted to build a cancer atlas by using the cancer incidence rates from the cancer registry data, which IKNL is responsible for. Dr. Sun would then become your supervisor. We did warn you that the project was highly complex and mathematical, but you just wanted to learn more about spatial temporal analysis. Your assignment was simple. IKNL was working on a specific Bayesian spatial Poisson model, but the statistical inference method was computational intensive. It took quite some time. The goal was to develop a fast algorithm that could fit this model. We chose the direction of developing moment-based estimators for spatial Poisson models since we expected these models to be fast and efficient. But we had to demonstrate mathematically and by simulations that the moment-based estimation method had good performance, close to the performance of the Bayesian approach. This turned out to be a real challenge. The field of spatial models is large and opaque, ondoorzichtig, which made it hard to have a quick start into the topic. Furthermore, there is no generic estimation package for the set of spatial Poisson models, which implied that you had to develop most of it yourself. The mathematics behind spatial modeling is complex. Everything is dependent, which makes all mathematical derivations rather extensive and tedious, with a high risk of making mistakes in the derivations. We both know that this part of the assignment did not provide your highest pleasure. The system of equations that you numerically had to solve, and that is mathematically impossible, was a drama. You tried many different solvers in R and many failed dramatically, sometimes of implementation failures and sometimes of the solver itself. This search seemed to keep on forever, giving you a hopeless feeling of never being able to finish the project. Moment-based estimation is not unique, which provides many options for finding the most suitable moment estimators. Again, opportunity for searching forever. As this part did not seem to converge either. Finally, some of the IKNL data showed features that may be in violation with the spatial Poisson models, which complicated the implementation of your algorithms as well. Nevertheless, your standing here shows that you managed to finish the project. But more importantly, you developed something completely new, since no one ever developed generic moment-based estimators for spatial Poisson models, so far as I know, and it's essential that your work is getting published. From the projects you did in my group, you enjoyed the programming and data analysis part the most. This is a real strength of you, and it compensates by far your mathematical skills, although I'm convinced you are intelligent and motivated enough to also increase your math skills and become a more balanced data scientist. You also have the ability to work well with others and can communicate and present easily. Finally, the quality of your work has always been high. Indeed, I believe you have the option to get 3 publications out of your student work at TUE if you want to publish all the results. Your internship, the Capita Selecta, and your thesis. Make sure that you keep learning as a data scientist and that you are constantly improving your skills to become stronger. I think it would be good for you if you would also do a PhD to dive deeper in the field of data science and mathematics. But that's up to you. And this is normally not allowed.
Congratulations with your degree.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Tom, for me, your graduation is special. You're one of the few students who I could work with during the entire 5 years of studying at TUE, from your first data challenge in your first year until graduation. Well, so special it's not. There's 2 more people here in this room who applies that to, but nevertheless. You also wanted to go abroad. Unluckily for you, COVID made that impossible. Luckily for me, you stayed. Your graduation project was with Van der Lande. Van der Lande builds large material handling systems like these baggage handling systems that we see over there. They're large buildings full with conveyor belts, and you want to make sure that the bag makes it to the flight. So the very simple topic that you had is to build a better simulation model for Van der Lande so that they can better predict, for example, where in 15 minutes from now a specific system, part of the system will be overloaded. So an engineer could take action. Well, this was obviously hard because these systems are enormous and factors subject to many influence factors. After thoroughly exploring a few dead ends, you ultimately came up with a very nice and simple solution. You combined machine learning-based predictors of conveyor belts with a classical simulation in a way that is very easy to understand. So easy to understand that even I understand it, which was one of the goals. And it's extensible, which lays foundation for future research. And although this didn't solve Van der Lande's problem yet, it has laid the groundwork for a lot of follow-up research for digital twins, which is a big research topic in our institute. Working with you was always a joy, right from the first year. You're incredibly quick in understanding problems, even quicker in implementing solutions, and very eager to learn a lot of new skills and techniques. The trail of practically useful software you have left during your studies is enormous. This includes research code related to projects that I've been doing 2 years ago that you implemented during your bachelor, to code that students are using in a challenge-based course in our master. Tom, you are an outstanding data scientist with an incredible energy to learn and to build. Keep this energy. Once in a while, take a pause to think about the next step, and you will have a tremendous impact. I wish you all the best.
So, Unite, dear Unite. So you did your master thesis with us at NXP, together with Frits Galay. And there you worked on our project Security for Machine Learning, where we are dealing with all kinds of security and trust issues in machine learning. And there are quite a number. And your main focus has been on the size of machine learning models. So they are typically very large, so many millions of weights, where every weight is a float, that all has to be stored, so that's very big, especially for the small processors that we at NXP have. So there are several techniques known to make them a bit smaller, and you focused on the quantization, which is one of them, and the idea there is then to not store everything in floats, but in smaller numbers, like integers, for instance. And with that, you can have a considerable decrease in the size. And many frameworks are available for that, and of course they are all claiming that they are the best what is available, but then your task was to do an evaluation of that, to see which were the best under which circumstances, so to see the difference of that. And there the focus of you was on vision, so object detectors, classifiers. And you found out that for those problems, the frameworks indeed did surprisingly well. So they have really good performance, even in the case that you have to reduce the size and you don't have any access to data, which is also often the case for the use cases where we are interested in. And also you saw sometimes very strange things happening, and there you also were very well able to find explanations for those strange artifacts, which you did really, really very well. So to get all those frameworks up and running was often a very frustrating process. That was not always that easy to do that. And the perseverance that you had was really impressive. So you never gave up. And you were also an extremely motivated student. So that were two very, very strong features that you have, Unite, but it was also a pitfall for you. And so where your programming skills were really excellent, the writing things down was a bit more of a challenge for you. And when we give you some feedback, you worked really hours and hours to process that, and your whole weekends were spent on repairing the text, and which is also then the pitfall. So you also have to be very careful that you also spend your time on the other things in life. So work is also nice, but other things are also nice, of course. So, but at the end, it all ended in a very successful project and a great thesis. And we at NXP thank you a lot for the efforts that you spent on it. And you have, I think, your thesis, you can be very proud of that. And I wish you all the best in your further career. And again, thanks a lot. And you get a very nice sweater.
See if I can do this without ruining everything. Yes. Right. Hi, Maria. First of all, congratulations with the thesis. Dear Maria, I'm very honored to be standing here with you and to celebrate your well-deserved graduation. And first things first, again, congratulations with the successful completion of your degree. You did your research project in collaboration with KPMG. And from the TUE side, I was the one who did most of the daily supervision, and also together with Mikola Peszyniski. And then from the KPMG side, we also have, I think Ilya is also in the audience, who's also sitting over there, who did the supervision from that side. During your project, you've worked on a very challenging topic in relation to the field of algorithmic fairness, which is a research field that focuses on making sure that machine learning systems do not replicate social biases and introduce fairness-related harms. In your thesis project, you critically analyzed several fairness-aware machine learning techniques, specifically sampling methods, and you've demonstrated how the use of these techniques can sometimes be very inappropriate in practice. And existing work in this direction usually only considers sampling techniques from a classification perspective, but in your thesis you've shown that actually in many use cases it's better to look at them from a risk assessment scenario, and then all those fairness metrics do not really make a ton of sense. And in those cases, just having like a binary yes-no prediction is definitely not as informative as the risk scores. And what you've did in your work is you've shown that many of those sampling techniques actually do not improve predictive performance metrics that do matter in risk assessment, and that even can harm the reliability of some of the risk scores, which makes it very difficult for domain experts to interpret them. And you've also shown that there exists much simpler and more transparent alternative mitigation techniques. Maria, I really enjoyed working with you. We've always had amazing talks. It was very nice to be able to to supervise you in your thesis. With everything that was happening in the world, it wasn't always an easy time for you. And I would really like to say that I'm really impressed with the way in which you have been able to persevere and also your professionalism along the road. You were clearly very excited about the topic of algorithmic fairness. I believe you even gave a talk at Fruit Punch AI regarding algorithmic fairness. It's really great to see people spreading the word. Throughout your projects, like we mostly met online, but you spent most of your time at the KPMG office, or at least whenever the trains allowed you to get to the KPMG office, because I've been told that there seemed to be a conspiracy going on to make sure that you weren't able to catch the train. Yeah, and the two of us mostly had online meetings, but I'm really glad that, especially at the end of the thesis, we also got to spend a few days together in person working on your project. And I really admire your ability to effortlessly mingle with unknown groups of people, both at the CUE side and also at KPMG. And this is further evidenced by the fact that they really wanted to keep you and that you're now a data engineer at KPMG. Maria, once more, I really enjoyed supervising you during your graduation project, together with Ilya and Mikola, of course. So congratulations and the best of luck with your future career.
Yeah, where's the... Oh, it's the next slide.
Do I have to click more?
It's one more. Ah. I was going to comment where's the stellarator, Leonard, but here. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, dear Leonard, congratulations on your graduation. You worked on this, I will say a little bit about what this actually is, with Josephine Prohl from Applied Physics. So, nuclear fusion holds the promise of clean and sustainable source of energy that can lead us to a new era of energy stability. It is the ongoing process that is powering our stars. And even though fusion is being replicated on Earth, maintaining a positive energy production and maintaining it for a period of time is actually a very difficult challenge. There are several approaches for developing fusion reactors. The magnetic confinement devices such as tokamak and the stellarator, which is what this picture is a little bit about, are the most studied and developed. These devices are typically very big and they're very expensive. And so it's very, usually to build them, you want to try to simulate a little bit beforehand. So this numerical simulation model are developed before you start building one, because it's a big commitment. The stellarator, which is this visualization here, or the magnetic field of the stellarator, is the focus of your work, where the plasma during the fusion reaction is confined using external magnetic fields. Therefore, the shape of these magnetic fields is responsible for the performance of the fusion reactor. However, the space of all possible magnetic fields is vast, right? So any first principle simulator is also very, very expensive to do. So in this work, the idea was to basically use computational methods or machine learning methods to explore this space of magnetic field configurations, which is basically this approach of generative AI to address the challenges of these traditional simulators by scaling them and their computational complexity. So you jumped into this complex problem directly, very courageously. It's not an easy task, of course. You had to clearly formulate the problem, find your way around these stellarators, simulators, develop your training data, what else? Explore, so develop machine learning models that can actually reproduce the simulators and explore the space of all possible configurations. So you showed outstanding dedication during this project that spanned these two big fields of applied physics and computer science. You managed to understand and overcome all sorts of challenges, which I don't have time to go into during this speech. So your work resulted in a model that demonstrated that generative machine learning models can act as a simulator in this context and reproduce and reduce the space of representations of those stellarator fields. There's still a lot more to be done, but you definitely show that there are more questions to be answered, but you show that that you broke ground into this approach and demonstrated the feasibility of the approach, which is quite a success. Overall, you showed a positive attitude and perseverance. These are positive traits that without doubt will serve you in your future career. Congratulations again, Lennart.
So, hi, Bram. It's very nice to be standing here together with you, celebrating your graduation. So, first of all, congratulations on making your way through your studies to a well-earned and well-deserved master's degree. I have to say, in the end, in total, it was a real pleasure to get to know you and to work alongside you in your thesis project. So the problem that you chose, so semantic zooming on property graph schemas, I like the illustration of a property graph here, was excellent. So it was timely, it's challenging, and also highly practical. It's what we're studying now in the research community alongside folks from industry. So this general problem arises in the study of graph-structured data collection. So this is data where the primary focus is on things and their relationships, and then doing analytics on this topology induced by these relationships. So examples of graphs include social networks. So think of, say, Facebook, where the things are people and the relationships are the social relationships. Transportation networks. So think of a motorway network here in the Netherlands, say, where the things are cities and the relationships are the roads between our cities. And as another example, citation networks in scholarly writing, right, where the things are papers and people, and the relationships are things like authorship and citation. Right? So the property graph, and this property graph, and the title here, refers to the data model, which is the industry standard coming out of ISO for the management of such collections of data. Okay, so the challenge in your work was to support insights into the complex information contained in such data collections, right? So generic infrastructure for doing this sort of analysis. Now, as graphs grow in size and importance, strategies for summarizing graphs into smaller, human-sized overviews have been developed. However, as graphs grow in size and complexity, these summaries themselves can be very overwhelming. So in your work, you tackled this problem. So what you did is you undertook a systematic and thorough study, both formal and empirical study of both known methods as well as new sophisticated methods for semantics preserving zooming into and out of property graph summaries, which you developed in your work, providing new insights into the management and practical use of property graphs. So Bram, working with you was always a real pleasure. It was a very smooth experience. I was very happily recalling your focused work, which you also carried out with a high degree of both creativity and independence, and also perseverance. For example, you moved house and remodeled house smack dab in the middle of all of this work. Even more exciting, or an additional aspect that made this work particularly exciting, was that it was in a nice collaboration with colleagues at the University of Perugia in Italy, some folks who are really leading experts in graph visualization and graph drawing algorithms. So you're not only an excellent and knowledgeable programmer, but you can also readily grasp and digest the big picture and also the formal details upon which you can build generalizable and reusable technologies. So I was very happy to be involved in your work, Bram, and I wish you the best of luck and success in your next steps and in your future career. And please do keep in touch and let me know how things go. So congratulations again. stuff. This is a graph. It's just a graph with one object and no relationship.
So Lawrence, Mikola Peczynski was your supervisor. He wasn't able to be here for the speech, so he asked me to read a few words for you. Dear Lawrence, I sincerely congratulate you with the successful completion of your MSc studies. You chose to do your graduation project in collaboration with the Department of Mechanical Engineering. The topic of your study was cyclist motion prediction. In particular, you are looking into how expressive deep learning models could be utilized for making such predictions in the context of smart mobility and vehicle automation. The driverless or driver-assistant cars should anticipate the actions of other drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. Today, we witness many successes of modern machine learning. Notably, in the recent period, ChatGPT is exciting practitioners, researchers, and general public about its capabilities. While being extremely powerful in producing fancy outputs, generative models that are the backbone and the artificial brains of ChatGPT are also known to hallucinate and generate nonsensical outputs. Nonsensical, I guess. You have been addressing a related challenge in cyclist motion prediction, how to ensure the robustness and trustworthiness of your model, in particular, how to ensure that models will predict feasible cyclist trajectories. You identify that trajectories' feasibility and robustness are often overlooked in existing approaches for cyclist motion prediction. To tackle this limitation, you developed so-called kinematic constraint deep models that impose restrictions on the predictions made by the model, thus ensuring that the predicted trajectories are indeed kinematically feasible. You introduced 3 levels of constraints with increasingly stricter restrictions imposed on 2 control inputs: steering angle and acceleration. The results you obtained were rather promising. Your model was able to provide highest prediction robustness and trajectory feasibility. Lawrence, your 3 supervisors were not always available for you 100% of the time, at least not in the most cheerful moments, as you can witness this today with me addressing you on behalf of the supervisors. Jokes aside, on behalf of all the supervisors, I would like to reiterate that it was a pleasure to supervise your graduation project. You demonstrated a high level of independence and yet took all their guidance and feedback seriously, resulting in a very good MSc thesis project you can be proud of. Congratulations again, and all the best in your future career.
So, Dan, congratulations.
Thank you.
Van harte gefeliciteerd. So, Dan, it was really fun supervising you because usually, you know, like students walk from meeting to meeting, have a bit of progress, but you were like, you know, like meeting after meeting, I was just sitting there, like listening to you, telling me what you have now proven all, like what kind of experiments you've made, and I was just like, okay, you go, guy. So as a supervisor, I just really had to keep track with your progress and then try to steer you sometimes into the right directions, which was just a really fun thing to do. So your project, you gave it to me, basically emerging from a passion project of yours, which was the solar car racing, and for that, what we needed from AI was to predict actually the solar radiance. So an interesting problem because when you predict the solar radiance, it's not just important to have a prediction, but also to have the uncertainty measure with it, which is a very important topic in AI in general, like uncertainty in AI. This is really relevant. But on top of, like the challenges of this project, which is like that it's on the verge of like stochastics and data mining and doesn't really belong at the moment to any particular discipline. And we had these problems of like finding the correct terms even to look for the relevant papers in these two disciplines. You had also these other challenges, which was like that your hard drive broke. And all the data that you have collected on the solar radiation forecasting was just like not there anymore. And you had to then try to repair it, and that didn't work. And still, like that didn't stop you. You just like changed it to a more general research topic. And now we're trying to make a paper out of it. And you told me already you won't be able to work on it today, which is okay, you're excused. But yeah, I'm quite curious what the reviewers will say. I think you have everything to, even have now this research publication, although you already have a new job with interesting applications. You have the theory, you have the experiments. The only thing we need to do is to make it understandable for the reviewers. So all in all, I wish you all the best. I hope you don't lose your drive. And all good luck in your future career.
Beste Nieke, het doet me veel plezier om je het masterdiploma te mogen overhandigen en je ook te feliciteren met de titel. Mede namens de medebegeleider Jaap Storm. Die is voor jou. En ik zie ook dat je over 2 dagen verjaardag bent. Dat is een mooi vroeg verjaardagscadeautje. En ik wil ook graag je vriend en ouders, verdere familieleden en kennissen in de gelukwens betrekken. Het is alweer ruim 2 maanden geleden dat je je afstudeerpresentatie gaf. En dat was een prachtige bekroning van een zeer interessant en uitdagend project bij bol.com over optimale prijsstrategieën voor seizoensgebonden modeartikelen. Bijvoorbeeld zomerjurkjes, daar heb ik heel veel over geleerd. Maar het zouden ook winterjassen kunnen zijn. En het spreekt voor zich dat bol.com tevreden klanten wil, maar wel toch graag artikelen voor een zo hoog mogelijke prijs wil verkopen, zonder aan het einde van het seizoen met een grote voorraad te blijven zitten, omdat die, zeker met snel veranderende modetrends, zoals de zomerjurkjes, wel eens onverkoopbaar zou kunnen worden. Dus om die optimale prijs te bepalen, moet je eigenlijk de vraag weten en met name ook kunnen voorspellen hoe die vraag afhangt van de prijs, wat bepaald niet eenvoudig is. Je komt daarvoor al gauw uit bij geavanceerde statistische methoden, veel te ingewikkeld voor mij. En dan nog blijft het lastig omdat historische verkoopdata, zeker in het geval van modeartikelen, niet altijd een betrouwbare graadmeter bieden voor de toekomst. Anderzijds hoeft de voorspelling wellicht ook niet heel nauwkeurig te zijn, omdat het uiteindelijk gaat vooral om het maximaliseren van de verkoopopbrengst, wat soms ook prima lukt zonder een hele accurate voorspelling. En dan kom je uit bij online optimalisering onder onzekerheden. Je afstudeerproject bevond zich dus op het snijvlak van enerzijds de statistiek, anderzijds optimalisering onder onzekerheden, met name Markov-beslissingstheorieën, om optimale prijsstrategieën te bepalen. En mede daardoor verliep de aanloop naar het project en de eerste fase wat stroef, omdat het niet echt duidelijk was waar nu het zwaartepunt zou komen te liggen. Maar uiteindelijk heeft Jaap Storm, die ik al noemde, de dagelijkse begeleiding op zich genomen en gezorgd voor een mooie balans tussen die 2 onderdelen en invalshoeken. Jaap heeft in het najaar de TUE verlaten om voor de ABN AMRO te gaan werken, aan wat andere onderwerpen overigens. En vanaf die periode ben ik intensiever bij het project betrokken geweest. Ik denk met heel veel plezier terug aan onze wekelijkse besprekingen, dikwijls online. En ben onder de indruk dat je altijd zeer efficiënt en planmatig opereerde en het hoofd koel hield ondanks de wat strove aanloopfase die ik al noemde, die voor wat vertraging en enige tijdsdruk zorgde bij de afronding van je project. Je bent daar uiteindelijk prima in geslaagd, met heel veel complimenten en waardering vanuit bol.com voor de ondersteuning die je hen hebt geboden bij allerlei werkzaamheden, naast het toch al uitdagende afstudeerproject, waarin je een prijsstrategie hebt ontwikkeld die beter presteerde dan de bestaande methode. Ik hoop dat dat niet al te vertrouwelijke informatie is. En zelfs heel dicht in de buurt kwam van een hindsight optimum, wat een absolute bovengrens aangeeft op het meest haalbare. Je bent inmiddels aan de slag gegaan bij ASML, als ik het wel heb. En ik weet niet wat je specifieke functie-inhoud daar is, moet ik bekennen. Maar ik denk dat je daar perfect op je plek bent gekomen en met heel veel plezier en succes zult werken. Je hebt namelijk bewezen om heel snel tot de kern van complexe problemen te kunnen doordringen en allerlei praktische randvoorwaarden in kaart te kunnen brengen door met de gebruikers en andere stakeholders in gesprek te gaan. En ik denk dat jij en ook ASML daar heel veel profijt van zullen hebben de komende jaren. Nienke, nogmaals van harte gefeliciteerd en alle geluk en succes gewenst in je verdere loopbaan en leven. En het gaat je goed.
Dear Stan, you have been a student in my group since 2020, correct? 19. When we were working on COVID-19, and we tried to model the growth curve. You wanted to be part of the group because of this. What I remember is that you were very much interested in mathematics, and in particular statistics, and how it can be applied in practice. The COVID-19 project was exactly what you wanted. You helped us with the COVID-19 project that we started, and I think it was visible on the website. We had these regular meetings, and you participated to make sure that we deliver what we thought would be useful. And you also did an end project on growth models for COVID-19 with Dr. Post. For your masters, you wanted something similar. So you were highly interested in the project with Fugro on the prediction of wave heights in oceans. We did not focus on prediction models itself, but rather on the precision of such models. This was not an easy project at all, since the statistical research question was far from clear. It took us quite some time to formulate what we wanted, and I'm still not completely 100% sure we formulated it completely okay. Those who know about prediction modeling may be confused by my statement, but let me try to indicate or illustrate the issue. First of all, we're talking about predicting a maximum wave height in a particular ocean or a part of the ocean within a particular time frame. There are three unknowns. How many waves will there be? The distribution of the wave heights, and the spatial temporal dependencies among the waves. Just focusing on the maximum wave height alone is already a problem, since estimation of maxima are always very imprecise. We are talking about extreme results occurring with very low probabilities. Secondly, the data that is available is not individual wave heights as well, but rather the average wave height of a 1/3 highest wave heights measured in a particular period. So a kind of a deconvolution problem. Note that these measurements are not complete since they are also based on what we call buoys, but I've never been able to pronounce this correctly, the buoyancy. So they only cover a particular part, so they never cover the complete part. Based on this type of aggregated data, we needed to be well, say something about the likelihood of an individual wave height in the near future in a particular part, because that's important when people operate on sea. Although it took quite some time before you were able to make progress, you were able to improve the so-called alpha factor. This factor is important in decision-making for safe marine operations. It is a correction factor used for the limit on the maximum allowable wave height to accommodate the uncertainty in prediction. Your work was a nice mix of mathematical formulations and derivations and practical investigations. But more importantly, you showed that the literature on alpha factors is fake and most likely incorrect. Thus, we should really quickly write up the findings so that marine science is aware of this issue. Before I finish, let me make a few comments on you. First of all, you are a very relaxed person and not easily stressed out. In our weekly meetings, well, we'll work on that, we'll do that, no problem. Next time, next meeting, well, okay, work on that. So was probably a little bit frustrated when I constantly asked, but what is the problem that we're trying to optimize? Okay, but clearly you're not a quitter either, even though I think the project pushed you to your limits. You work very independently and you're also very intelligent. You can work well with other people with different backgrounds, which was really necessary also in Fugro. You like to have impact on society through your work, but also personally, I think, demonstrated by your volunteer work last month, December, I think in Africa, wasn't it? So the only thing I was surprised about is your indecisiveness. Accepting my offer for a PhD position, knowing that we had the perfect project for you. But okay, I'm really happy that you finally accepted the project and that we now continue the journey on disease surveillance. Thank you. I hope everything will go okay. There is no speech, but I hope if I click on the next one, we'll get a speech on the window.
Sander, het doet mij veel plezier jou te kunnen feliciteren en nog eens toe te kunnen spreken. De felicitaties zijn natuurlijk voor het behaalde diploma, de master degree en natuurlijk jouw thesis die je bij ons hebt gemaakt. En ik zeg ons, want natuurlijk het probleem kwam bij jou terecht via Bart Jansen, waarmee we wekelijkse sessies hadden, dus dank aan Bart voor de begeleiding. En uiteindelijk kwam het probleem natuurlijk vandaan van de People Group, waar Flip van der Valk jou begeleid heeft, dus dank aan Flip. Het probleem dat jij bekeken hebt, handelde over het ontwerp van optische kabelnetwerken. Dus u moet zich voorstellen, beschouw een nieuw te bouwen wijk van woningen of een bestaande wijk. En dan wil je graag alle woningen via een optisch kabelnetwerk met elkaar verbinden. En uiteindelijk verbinden met een centraal distributiepunt, wat als ik me goed herinner, tenminste een city point of presence werd genoemd. Er zijn verschillende manieren om dit probleem aan te vliegen. Decompositie hoort daar altijd wel bij. Er is een bestaande manier om dat te doen en jij hebt naar een alternatieve manier gekeken. En ik herinner mij dat jij voor een 10-tal bestaande wijken, bestaande instanties, jouw manier uiteindelijk vergeleken hebt met de bestaande manier en afhankelijk van de eigenschappen van die wijk, ver uit elkaar, met woningen dicht bij elkaar, was jouw manier soms beter dan de andere manier. Ik herinner mij onze meetings met veel plezier. Jij was altijd goed gehumeurd en altijd spraakzaam en had altijd een goede ideeën over hoe het zou moeten gaan. Ik herinner mij ook dat er op een gegeven moment een deadline was waarop er veel tekst geproduceerd moest worden en Bart en ik hadden nog niks gezien. En ik vroeg mij wel af, komt dat goed? Maar op het moment van de deadline kwam het goed. Je had een boel tekst geschreven en dat was een mooi verhaal. En dat is een eigenschap, Sander, waar ik denk dat jij nog veel plezier van gaat hebben in jouw verdere carrière. Ik wens je ontzettend veel succes en ongetwijfeld tot ziens.
Ik ga wel even naast hem staan, denk ik. Ja, dat lijkt me wel het beste. Met de trui, maar die is voor jou.
So, this at least finishes the diploma session, but we always would like to have the chairwoman of our association, Gewis, to address the graduates as well. So I would like to invite Wietske de Bond as chairwoman of Gewis.
Dear students, or actually graduates, dear family and friends, other attendees. As already mentioned, my name is Wietske. I'm the current chair of Gewis, the study association for mathematics and computer science, but also the master DSEA of IE is part of that. And as Gewis, we organize many activities ranging from math competitions to parties, but also from career lunch lectures to fun outdoor weekends, for example, to the Eiffel, I remember. And but let's move on to why we're here. Today is a special day because it's your official graduation where you receive your master degree. And this degree represents all the knowledge and lessons you've learned here within the department at the university, but it's also a symbol for your journey as a student and all the things on the way which you have developed yourself as a person. But also on this day, if we go back in time, 107 years ago, Albert Einstein published his general theory of relativity, which really describes gravity in the modern theoretical physics. And this really was the new elegant successor of already Newton's law of gravity. And in a similar fashion, I hope all of you, somewhere in the future, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's a bit later, may have a valuable contribution to science or towards society. Because now you're at a new chapter of your life. Maybe you will start with a PhD here at the university. Maybe you've already started. Maybe you will start a new job at a company or do something totally different. But now is the time to start achieving many more goals. And maybe it wasn't an easy ride. Obtaining your master's degree required a lot of motivation, energy, and hard work. Also, I think especially for you, because large part of your degree was during times of a pandemic. So I think you can be really proud of you that you really put in the effort and that you're here right now. So you can be proud of yourselves. I think all your family and friends can be proud of yourselves. But also I am proud of you also on behalf of Gewis. And now I would like to pay some special attention to some Gewis members who've been active in organizing many of our great events. And therefore I will also switch to Dutch for a moment. Yes. Sander, ja, je bent eigenlijk altijd actief geweest bij Gewis, gezellig aanwezig op borrels of activiteiten. Ook altijd een passie voor je studie. Volgens mij, als ik me goed herinner, had jij een 10 gehaald voor analyse 1 zelfs. Of in ieder geval het goed afgesloten. Dat is echt knap. En daarmee heb je ook andere mensen getutord en bijles gegeven. En die passie voor wiskunde heb je ook een beetje geuit in GEBEP. De commissie die leuke wiskundeactiviteiten organiseerde. Zo herinner ik me een activiteit waar je eigenlijk als een Griekse wiskundige uit de oudheid verkleed was. Zou je misschien niet meteen verwachten bij de activiteit, maar het was een leuke toevoeging aan de activiteit. Daarnaast hebben we vorig jaar ons lustrum mogen vieren als vereniging. En daarbij was je ook onderdeel van de lustrumcommissie Great Times. Waarbij je ook goed je steentje hebt bijgedragen voor een mooie Lustrum Campus, die eigenlijk een reis door de ruimte was op zoek naar de oneindigheid. Want dat was ook deels het thema van het Lustrumjaar. Dus Sander, bedankt voor al je inzet en je bijdrage aan gewis. En ook nog een beetje leuk als relevant nog een klein bedankje voor je. En dan ga ik door met Bram. Ja, waar moet ik beginnen? Ik zou maar gewoon beginnen bij het begin. De eerstejaarscommissie in 2014, dat is alweer een tijdje terug. Hier betrad je de functie als penningmeester. Misschien was dit al eigenlijk een signaal voor de rest van je gewiscarrière. Want toen ik het even op ging zoeken, ben jij in heel veel organen en commissies penningmeester geweest. En dat begon al daar. En wat echt kenmerkt is dat jij niet zomaar stil blijft zitten als er werk te doen is. Je pakt het gewoon aan en je houdt van actief zijn. Zoals er dingen moeten gebeuren, maar ook zowel lekker buiten actief zijn. Zo heb je meerdere weekendjes gedwaald, wandelweekend georganiseerd. Maar ook ietsje sneller wandelen. De Watte Vieren race heb je ook in bijgedragen. Allebei zowel als voorzitter als penningmeester. Zo ben je altijd actief geweest. De jaarboekcommissie, maar ook Gadetdag, waarbij we met de andere technische universiteiten een beetje samen verbroederen. En dan kom ik eigenlijk aan bij je bestuursjaar. Je bent penningmeester geweest 2017 tot 2018. En hierbij heb je een bijdrage geleverd aan de vereniging, maar heb je ook later nog geholpen met alle kascontrolecommissies, maar ook bij al je volgende penningmeesters, als ze weer een keer een probleem hadden met multivers, dan was jij daar om ze uit de brand te helpen. En zelfs nu, als wij een keer als bestuurder allemaal niet zijn en we iemand nodig hebben om even de ruimte open te houden, dan draag je nog wel eens je steentje bij door te zeggen, ik kan wel even er zijn. Dus bedankt daarvoor. Ook ben je nu nog actief bij Avico, de videocommissie, maar ook je dispuutboom, waarbij je soms misschien iets te actief bent en een beetje gewond raakt tijdens een activiteit, maar dat kan er altijd bij zijn. En Bram, ik denk dat er maar weinig mensen zijn die echt zoveel gedaan hebben en zo actief zijn geweest als jij. En alle dank daarvoor. Dus ik wil je ook nog een mooie oorkonde geven, dus als je naar voren wilt komen. En ook nog een lekker boekje. Bedankt. And as all of you are now alumni of our of our department, you're also welcome to join ADA, the recently founded alumni association, to keep in touch with fellow alumni. And then there's only one thing left for me to say, and that's to congratulate you all again with this wonderful achievement. And I hope that it may be a stimulus for the rest of your life.
So, we're almost getting to an end. With reference to the words of the previous speakers, and on behalf of the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science, but also the other departments that are involved in our programs, I congratulate you, your families, friends, on your degree. I wish you every success and good fortune in your future career. Carrying a scientific degree comes with duties and rights, and it is my duty to make you aware of this. Please pay attention because it's an important aspect to understand your duties and rights, in particular in this day and age. Let me see. As a holder of this degree, you are committed to standards of scientific integrity, trustworthiness, intellectual honesty, openness, independence, and societal responsibility. These standards are described in more detail in the Netherlands Code of Conduct for Research Integrity and in the Eindhoven Code based on it. You also have duties towards society. You must be clear about the boundaries of your own expertise, and you must communicate honestly and independently about the results of your work, including potential risk associated with it. You are committed to the ethical code for research and design involving human subjects or animals. And now it's silent. So, the university likes to keep in contact with you. I think the chairwoman already said this. Make sure that you register for the AlumniNet and become member. I think you will find information somewhere in this package. At least I hope. So, outside the room, I think we'll have a chance to congratulate the Masters of Science. But before we go outside, and I think there will be drinks. I hope there will be drinks. Well, we first going to make a photo, and then I always, there is somebody in charge of that, so we'll just follow instructions. The idea is that you will have a photo of all of you with the supervisors, and if this is done, then we can all go out, have something to drink, and talk about some of the things we just happened today, or maybe in the past, or maybe in the future. So this closes the public sitting of the Examinations Committee for today.